Toby is one of the smartest little boys that I know. At the age of 6, he told me that why the sky wasn't actually blue and that it had particles in it and the sky was grey and that the particles reflected the light and it made it look blue. And I just stood there and looked at him and thought, wow, you're incredible. Toby was diagnosed with adrenoleukodystrophy at the age of just 8 years old. It's a rare brain disease that causes neurological damage to both the spinal cord functions and also to the brain itself. We took him to the doctors after his mobility started to fail, and it failed very quickly. Within a year, he'd gone from walking to being in a wheelchair. We were given 6 to 18 months of him being in a vegetative state from diagnosis, which was at Christmas, and he's already on that path. We do know that the prognosis is very poor, and we are absolutely certain that he will unfortunately die from this condition. Having the diagnosis was a shock that I don't think you can ever be prepared for. We were not thinking that this was going to be what we had in front of us, and having Christmas around the corner was a real struggle. It did give us a focus, but it was a time of immense grief. I would just walk into his room and burst into tears because I knew that one day I would be going in there and he wouldn't be there, and that was incredibly tough. Without Shooting Star, I think we would honestly be a little bit lost. There isn't really many places where you can deal with the grief and knowing that there's going to be a future bereavement and talk so openly with people that not only understand but also have been there a lot of times before, seen the process before, and they have experience of really every sort of reaction that could happen after you hear news like that. Whilst this was devastating to us, it's devastating to Toby's life, it's equally devastating to have children so young to be told that their brother is going to die, and we knew that we didn't have the skills to be able to tell them this, but also to be able to support them on their journey. So initially we came for a few sessions. We've come individually with Toby, but we then also came with his brothers, and that they could see the hospice themselves. They've been to the sensory room and had a massage, they've been into the playroom, they've been into the pool. And actually, as we left one day, my eldest son said, "It's okay because I know where he is going to be and I know that he's safe." And that made such a difference to him. Coming here has been huge for us as parents as well. I think the predominant reason was to support our children, but in doing so, we have also found other parents that we've bumped into that, you're in the same situation, everyone is in this together. I can send an email and say this has happened, and then the phone will ring, and I'll have somebody asking me how I feel about it, am I okay? Or I'll just get a text message to say, just want to check in, is everything okay? And those messages are so important. Firstly, I know there's someone thinking about us, but equally I know that there's someone on the end of a phone that if I have a problem, whether that's with Toby physically and medically or it's emotional, then I can just ring up and say, hey, I've got a problem. And I know somebody will take the time and work it through with me, which I feel incredibly lucky to have. It's allowing us to be able to live this time that he has as a happy time rather than one that we can look back on in sadness. And a happy one for Toby as well, because I don't want him to live through this time if just sadness. It's horrible what is happening to us, but he needs to live in a world that's so happy because he's so happy, and I want to make sure that the rest of his life is geared up to that, so that we know at the end of it that we gave everything, and that we can look back and say, okay, it was a short life, but it was hard and it was fast and it was brilliant.